Hey everybody, it's Kevin Kelly. We're counting down the Super J-Cup. Of course, it's December the 12th on NJPWWorld.com. You can also order it on Fight TV. Field of 8, star-studded lineup. The brainchild of Jushin Thunder Liger in 1994 coming back around. And for the second year in a row, competing in the Super J-Cup this year, he might win it. It's TJP. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. I got my caffeine today and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
You're all swagged out there in your office. You're looking great. What a media room. We're gonna do the long form interview at some point because there is so much to talk about with you. I mean, we could really start at the beginning.
I'm deceivingly old is really what we're saying here. It's a roundabout way.
Well, like, I always tease Rocky Romero. I always tease him, it's like, he was on the undercard of, Thez and O'Connor in 63 or whatever it was. But you guys both started so young, and you've learned a lot throughout the years. But this tournament, I know, is special to you because more so than, like, for example, when I talked to Leo Rush, and we talked about the tournament's birth in 1994. He's like, "Oh, that's funny because I was just born like 3 months before that." So
yeah, Leo can't even spell Super J-Cup.
but this is something that was there as you were. It was a tangible goal when you started in the LA dojo. Tell me what this Super J-Cup tournament means to you personally.
My first memory, well, that's not my first memory of that time, but a unique memory about that time when I was starting. So this was like 98, 99. These were like my first year or two breaking in, and the J-Cup started, with 94, 95 consecutive years. And that was, I mean, that's, to this day, I still think that that's kind of like the magic behind it. That's the one you kind of think of. And I actually felt like last year's final, as a side note, like the way that it was shot in the pyramid and the way that it looked, the lighting, it kind of felt like the 94 J-Cup, the way that it looked. Like it was really bright. And there was such a unique mix of North Americans and other imports and obviously the homegrown Japanese talent. But when I started in 98, 99, they had a J-Cup like within like a year in 2000. And I remember Curryman was in it, and knowing Curryman in real life, I was really excited to just kind of be that close to it. And I remember asking so many questions, and because this was always my goal. I mean, this was what I always wanted to do, was be in the Super J-Cup. So to be in it twice and to do it in consecutive years is incredible. And I feel very lucky.
Well, I know that even for the new fan, the person who has just jumped on board with New Japan Pro Wrestling over the last couple of years, they somehow, some way have heard of the Super J-Cup. It's one of those things that transcends wrestling and has gotten into pop culture, I think, more so than almost, that and the G1, I think are almost neck and neck in terms of like what the common person might know of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's pretty good.
I mean, I feel like a lot of wrestling fans, especially the newer New Japan fans, like within like I'm talking about the realm of their expansion as far as their reach. They get a lot of North American fans now, and it's become such a worldwide brand. And I think a lot of, especially younger American fans, they confuse the best of the Super Juniors with the J-Cup. So when I was coming up, there's a best of Super Juniors every year, and it's always in the league class. So to be part of that's also an honor. I got to do that in 2011, and I remember thinking, man, this is a bucket list moment for me. But like for like longtime followers, the J-Cup was really like, that's like the hidden treasure, like, because you only get a handful of those, and it comes up every so often. You never know when the next one will be. And so I think that, to your point about like it sort of becoming this like pop culture thing, I think that's how just the letter J and the branding of it came about, because with the J-Cup, there was other stuff like the skydiving J and just different stuff that incorporated the junior tag that started the name tag that started coming after that. And the J-Cup was really what started it all.
You drew, in my estimation, of course, the goal for you is to avenge, get even with El Phantasmo for what happened last year, and El Phantasmo back in this year's tournament, defending champion. For me, though, I think you drew kind of the toughest first round match, and with ACH, somebody you're familiar with, somebody who has common mindset, common goals. Almost, I would think you guys could go name for name with a junior heavyweight division in New Japan Pro Wrestling. You guys both know the same stuff. You know each other so well. How is this one going to shake out?
Man, I don't think that you couldn't have put it better than that. Not only is ACH just such an incredible opponent and an incredible just wrestler, generally speaking. If you were to just assess him as a fan, I mean, he's got all the tools and he's so good. And at this point now, he's so experienced. When I first knew him, I've known him for years. He was coming up, and I think the only thing he lacked was like some experience. But in the time that I was with him before and now, he had gone through New Japan, he had gone into WWE, done all these different companies and all these different things, and now he's so much better. And I personally regret now at this point, because we've talked about becoming a tag team too, so we've shared a lot of ideas and concepts and things, and now I'm like, man, I shouldn't have opened up my bag of tricks to him, because now I got to try to beat this guy.
Now you need a new bag.
And I think, all things considered, I consider him to be a superior physical wrestler than me. I'm gonna have to get creative if I expect to beat him. And yeah, El Phantasmo being, ELP being on the opposite bracket, I have to run the entire table just to get to this guy, and hope that he runs the entire bracket. So the odds are against me as far as certain outcomes, as far as what I want to accomplish. But I think the journey is the thing, and being in it this year is going to be exciting. And as tough as ACH is as a first round opponent, I don't think I could have picked a more fun matchup, because it's definitely a unique style mix.
Well, I am looking forward to seeing how this tournament unfolds and how far you can go, and if you achieve your goal of winning the Super J-Cup. I feel like we just started to scratch the surface, but we have limited time here today. We need to dive back in, really do the deep dive, the long sit down interview, because I just want to pick your brain for hours, just so you know. I want to hear, I have 1,000 questions I could ask you, literally. And that might suffice for the first volume. But I'm excited to see you back in this tournament. Hopefully a victory here in Super J-Cup. And we go back to Japan in 2021, fingers crossed, and the 10-year anniversary of your Best of Super Junior debut. I think it would just be a great story that could be written. And you hold the pen, my friend. So best of luck on December the 12th.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin.
All right. So that's TJP gearing up for the Super J-Cup, December 12th, right here, NJPWworld.com. You can also order it on Fight TV.